Ladies and gentlemen, how are we doing? Good evening. Welcome to the beautiful MJS Daily Recap. We got a lot of stuff going on. We have had a hell of a weekend here. And I'm excited to talk about it, truthfully. I'm actually going to rip through a couple things here that what we did the past couple days, and then I'm going to show, I was in the process of building out a couple more things, so I'm going to kind of maybe show some of that, maybe build a little bit, but just in general kind of the emphasis that I'm going to talk about here is the merch that we just put up for AM and the PM. I'll show where that's at. I'll show, like how you can buy some, but that's not really the point, honestly. Like if you buy some, that's great, but more so, I wanted to make this live stream dedicated more to how I kind of did those things. Some good resources for anybody that wants to make clothing for literally anything. It doesn't need to be a business. It could just be like, even if you needed like I don't know, like even a sports team or some shit, like just a lot of different things. So that's kind of what we're going to look at and tackle here in some of this, and hopefully it'll be fun. But briefly, I do what I always do is I kind of talk about the things that I did these past couple days here. I haven't streamed, and on Friday, it was a beautiful day. Sat outside. I was working on some LinkedIn copy. So highly recommend you get on LinkedIn if you want to connect with me. I will put that right here. But definitely keep this shit up to date. It's a beautiful way to just kind of like go ahead and do like your very easy resume type thing. So I have some, if you're interested again too in the things that I'm doing, I have it, most of it here. There's a bunch of resources online and a bunch of different places that I have stuff, but I went through and I kind of just did some extra stuff in the descriptions for the different positions that I've had. So that was one of the things that I did on Friday. Easy day, didn't really do too much. Had the Last Supper because we can no longer go out to eat. So Man and I went to Texas Day, Brazil. If you're not following us on Instagram, you should be. amandthepmpodcast.com. We put a lot of funny stuff on there. And then we kind of got into the weekend. We got into a lot of things that were pretty interesting. So as a little bit of important context, I work at Ray's Restaurant on the weekends, which we will get to here more in a little bit. If you saw my Instagram story from earlier, you know that I'm working on that merch page. So there's a couple more things there. But this weekend was weird because we can't work there. We can't work they're only doing takeouts now, right? Restaurants are cut down to just takeout. So went in on Saturday. Actually, before we went in, Amanda was at my house, and we did like a little AM and the PM merch meeting just yesterday on Saturday. And we'd been thinking about it. We'd been going over some things. We had some notes, different products that we wanted to put in, pricing, all that sort of stuff. So we got a lot accomplished there, talked to her about it. And we're like, okay, we're going to start with shirts, hoodies, and stickers. And that's what we have now. And like I said, I'll show you in a second. Went into Ray's, worked. It was just takeout. It was kind of breezy. We just, did whatever. So the point is, though, that this weekend has been different, and I've been able to accomplish a lot because I didn't have to go to work both days, right? So then Amanda and I filmed an episode of AM and the PM. I rescheduled an FBP guest, and I did a lot more work on the actual website and the merch page of AM and the PM that we'll take a look at here in a second. So, and then today I just filmed FBP 70. So here is the kind of like, I'm gonna just run through a couple of these things and kind of show you like everything that we were looking at here. So first thing, Instagram. We'll take a look at a couple of these things. So on my story here, this is kind of just something that we put up here, and it's the shop page, and we'll go to the website actually here, but there's just some interesting stuff here, and because marketing is big. And then this is that story that I put up, and it kind of just explains the thing that I'm gonna talk about here, so we're just gonna leave that. But yeah, so go follow me on Instagram. Thanks, bye. Okay, let's talk about this. amandthepmpodcast.com. This is the website. This is our for our podcast and our little brand that we're establishing here. If we go over to the shop page, you can see that this is what we have. So how did I do this? Like, what did I do to get this here? Well, I'm a WordPress developer. Like, you could do Shopify, you could do Wix, you could do Squarespace, you could do all sorts of different stuff. But I'm a WordPress web developer. So, and I have a company that does that. So what I did was used WordPress, WooCommerce, Printful, and Stripe. Now, all of that's like, what the hell are you talking about, Mark? Well, there's a certain way that this kind of all comes together, right? What you're seeing here on the screen is technically WordPress and WooCommerce to show the products, and to, like, you go into the black hoodie here and you see, like, the product information and all this sort of stuff, and you go through all this, and you go and you just go about your business, and you add this to your cart, and you go to checkout, and you do all this stuff. Let me actually check this. If I go like this, and there is the Ray's Restaurant one. Let me just check this. If I go to view cart, go to checkout. Okay. So yeah, perfect. So let me slide this back in here for a second. Okay. So for instance, as a brief rundown, and like I should probably make like a dedicated video to this type of thing, but I wanted to just jump in here, like I said, and talk about the things that I'm doing just to document it, and we can kind of go from there. This is WooCommerce, where you see the products and everything like that. It's a little plug-in extension thing of WordPress. If you were using Shopify, they kind of mold it all into one thing. If you're just gonna do one store and you want to do it yourself, I'd probably recommend Shopify. It's a little more straightforward, but this is like kind of more free in a sense. There's no like regular payments there's a lot of different things in that regard. But again, I do this, so if you're ever interested in it, hit me up and I'd be more than happy to go into more details. But I'm going to give the boilerplate here. WooCommerce and WordPress are the way that you show the actual things going on here. The products and the actual website itself is all built kind of with that in mind, and some other tools that I use, but they're not really pertinent to this specific project. So you do all this, then you have this, then you add it to your cart, you go to review cart. So this is a normal process, right? If you're on Amazon or if you're on any other merch site or anything like that, this is a pretty normal thing, right? You have a product, you put it in your cart, you have it in your cart, and then you go to checkout, and then you enter all your information, obviously, and you enter your credit card and your information down here. And this is an important part too, because this is another thing. So everything up until here was that WooCommerce and WordPress kind of like doing all that work. But once you get to this point right here, and you've basically shown people your product, and they can add it to the cart, they do all that. When they go to make a payment, that's a different thing. Now again, it might be getting into the weeds if you're just going to use like something like Shopify, but I think it's still important regardless of where you're at. If you're interested in ever doing something like this, these are important things to think about, because there's different pieces and different resources or platforms doing different parts of the work. So maybe sometimes you go to a website and you see that you have a PayPal option, right? Most of the time, you're probably just going to type in your credit card and it's going to get processed. But maybe you have a PayPal option, maybe you have like a Google Pay option, you have all these different other things. Well, those are called payment gateways. And what they do is, I don't actually know your credit card information when you put it in here. Like that's insecure, and that's not how that works. What you do is you put your credit card in here, and then Stripe, a company that's highly reputable and used on like millions and millions of sites, takes that information and processes it and runs your credit card, right, and processes that payment. And then I have the business has a Stripe account, which is kind of like the next step, and that is where the money like kind of goes, and then it gets into the account and all that sort of stuff. But the point that I'm making is that you have your platform that you're selling the goods on, and then the next step is like the payment gateway, so it's Stripe or PayPal or whatever. And once your customer puts their stuff in there, presses place order, they might get an email about, hey, new product, whatever, or new order. You're gonna get an order. You're gonna get an email that says, hey, this person just placed an order. Stripe, in this case, or PayPal or whatever, is gonna get notification of that. They're gonna process it. They're gonna have the money in their account. And this is another thing to know. So think about it like this. If you charge somebody, the thing with online payments is if you charge somebody $30 for something, right, they are going to pay you $30, but you're not going to necessarily ever see that whole $30. And here's why. Stripe itself is free, but it's pay as you go, meaning that when somebody pays $30, I, as the business in this sense, or AM and the PM in this sense, we get $30 into Stripe. But when it goes into Stripe, it comes in as $30. But when it goes from Stripe to our bank account, it's $30 minus 2.9% and 30 cents, like per transaction. It's just the way that they kind of do it. But the point is that each transaction you're getting charged 2.9% and 30 cents. That varies depending on who you use. If it's Square, PayPal, Intuit has one. So there's a bunch of other things. But the point is that you have to understand that running credit card transactions is not free, and that's why some places, actually like Ray's Restaurant in the actual restaurant, don't take credit cards because it costs money. Now, you can argue until you're blue in the face. Well, you're providing your customers a better experience. I don't ever really go anywhere that doesn't take cards. Not really because I avoid them actively, but it's just because I only pay in credit cards, right? So there's a lot of not ethical, but just preferential discussion to be had there. But the point is, with online shopping, it's pretty much you always use a card, right? A digital payment. So you're gonna be paying. You just have to factor it in. So I'm trying to have like a technology and business discussion and web, all this different things at once, and I'm just trying to get it out there. But I would, like I said, like to make more of a package thing. But to package that part of it up, let's just use a scenario, okay? And I haven't even gotten to the part where how you get your products yet, but let's say that you get a product for $15, right? I buy a product from somewhere and it's $15, right? It's got like some sort of item with like my name on it or a brand name on it, right? It's 15 bucks. Well, as a business, I need to charge more for that because that's how it works, right? McDonald's, to make a thing of French fries, it costs them like 20 cents and they charge you $1, right? Or whatever the hell the margin is. So that profit margin is something you need to establish. So, and I'm not an expert on this. I literally just started fucking doing this. So don't take this as like complete, a great way to do it. But the concept is thus that if something costs you $15, maybe you charge somebody $25 for it and you make a $10 profit off of that margin there. Well, the one thing, again, calling back to the actual payment and everything, is the one thing you have to keep in mind is the fact that you are not going to see the full retail price as an online merchant. So honestly, like an exact example, like this hoodie, okay, I'll give you real numbers here. This hoodie costs $35. We set this hoodie price at $35. There's going to be shipping, but that's kind of negated in a sense because it is and it isn't. Like we don't make any money off shipping because we just pass the shipping on, so it's kind of negligible. But the point is $35 plus I think $4 for shipping or something like that, or whatever it ends up coming out to. So you have shipping to wherever you're at. We just pass that shipping cost on. So let's just take the $35 actually. So $35 comes in, you get paid $35, and then that goes into Stripe, and then I don't know what the hoodie cost is. I think we'll just use 25 as like an example. So like we would make $10, but you have to again subtract that 2.9 and 30 cents from that price that ultimately came into Stripe. So again, I'm butchering the explanation, but you get the idea. Just make sure that you take into consideration the amount of money that you're spending in order to get the sale completely finalized. Because that's something that we were battling with a little bit, is like, what's our profit margins, even though this is a simple merch thing. Like as you continue to grow, like we want to make real clothes one day, not just merch like this. So there's a lot that goes into it, especially as you continue to scale and grow and do different things, I think. And there's a lot of people that are way smarter than me when it comes to this, and people that are actually doing shit that's way bigger than this. But I really love, the reason I'm talking about all these things is because I really love to understand a lot of the whole process, from start to finish. I don't think that it's scalable for me to always do all of this, but I really like to understand it at a high level and then continue to do that. So I like to try to pass that on whenever I can. But again, that's the idea there. Now, let me talk about sort of the next part of this, or the back end part of it, the part that you might be asking yourself if you come into the shop page, for instance, of this website, and you're like, hey, Mark, on the surface, right, you don't know anything about like e-commerce or whatever, like you've never had a store or anything, but you've bought stuff online. You're like, okay, hey, Mark, and like you guys are pretty new company, or new brand or whatever. Like, how did you do this? What's the deal here? Like, if you're interested in it, you might ask questions like, okay, do you have like 20 black hoodies sitting at your house? 20 of all these things. Like when I press place order, like, are you going to mail this to me? What's the deal there? That's not the case. So traditionally, I think that would be the case. I know people with other podcasts that have done that. They'll buy. Also, this isn't really the exact way that this kind of looks. So I'm gonna do something here real quick just to make it look how it should. But the point is that, and what I was saying was, traditionally, I know other people, like I said, that have these other podcasts and things, and they'll go down the street, right? And there we go, it's centered and all a little bit cleaner. But they'll go down the street, okay? They'll go down to mom and pop's, custom tee shop, and they'll buy some t-shirts, and then they'll get them screen printed with some stuff on them, and then like they'll buy 50 of them, and then maybe they'll tie dye them, or they'll do some stuff with it, and that's all well and good. I think that works. I don't know what the pricing is on that, because like that's just not something that I want to do. First of all, I'm a minimalist. I don't want to have like a bunch of fucking inventory like here with a bunch of random things. And the point is, not because I don't want to have this clothing. It's high quality clothing. I have one of these in my drawer here. I have one of these. We got samples of the things, right? It's always really important. You should definitely get samples so you know what the fuck you're selling. I think you're an asshole if you don't. But the point is, though, that I didn't want that to happen. So I was thinking, what could I do? Is there like some sort of service that's like printing on demand? And of course there is something like that. So it's called Printful. And I think I can go to Printful here. Let me grab another tab here and just see kind of where we're at with that. I think yeah. So here's Printful. I could kind of go into the back end here if we sign in, but the point here is, I'll just throw this in here. I'm trying to get an affiliate link here too, so at some point I might have an affiliate link for Printful. But the point is, on Printful here, they have like tons of products, and you can go in and you can design your own products, and like that's exactly what we did. We went in here and we designed a bunch of hoodies, and we designed shirts, different colors and different logos and stuff like that. And as you can see, we have hoodies, t-shirts, and some stickers right now. We have at least 3 more different things on the way, like different types of things, which I haven't gotten the samples for yet, so I'm not going to sell them because I think that'd be silly, right? But the point is, and to kind of get back onto the train here, to answer the question that I posed that I think people might have is, Mark, do you have inventory of these things? And the answer is no. When you purchase something, it literally is not made yet. It's the idea, the concept of it is made, the product template, if you will, is made, but it's not actually made yet. What happens is, when you press place order, let's continue what we were talking about. You press place order, that money goes into our Stripe account, charges your credit card, goes in our Stripe account, eventually it goes into our bank account, right? At that exact time you press place order, our credit card gets charged, again, fake numbers, whatever, $15 for, let's say you buy this shirt, okay? Well, actually, let's stick with the hoodie example. Our credit card gets charged the $25 for the hoodie. I don't actually know what it costs. I can't remember, but $25 for the hoodie, and you get like through Printful charges us $25 for the hoodie. It's all set up in there already. They know, and it connects with this website, so it knows. And you could do this with Shopify. I've done it with Shopify actually with other people before. So again, that might be the route if you're not going to go crazy, but the concept is still the same. Printful gets charged, or you get charged via Printful, $25 for the product that is being made on your store's behalf for Joe Schmo, right? And then they start making the thing, and they do it. I never even see it. Like, this is the great part, is if you buy this hoodie right now, I'm never even going to see it. It's gonna get printed at their place. It's gonna get like they're gonna go down to where in their warehouse. They're gonna pick a hoodie, a blank hoodie out, that blank black hoodie. They're gonna stick it on a thing. It's gonna get screen printed, and then they're gonna quality check it. They're gonna package it up. They're gonna slap a sticker that says your address that you put in on through our website and got to them via the integration. They're gonna slap that on it, and they're gonna send it out to you, directly to you, and it's gonna be great. Now, and it's great. It's great for like, I want to say it's great for everyone, honestly, because I mean, like, you get a good quality product that like we don't have to hold. It's actually made like right before, so it's like there's no, like, it's not even, it's fresh. I mean, I don't know if it matters for like clothing to be fresh, but you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not, it's really great from a business perspective, okay? Like, because I don't have to carry the inventory. There's literally no upfront cost, and you just pay like a percentage and stuff like that as you go. And I've just loved the way that they've handled everything for the most part so far. Printful is a solid service. And again, you don't even need to have a business. You could just go on here and start making shirts and shit like that. But the point is, again, it's a nice way to start a business. It's a cool thing. You can do a lot of different stuff on it. You can design whatever you want. It doesn't need to just be logos. You can do all sorts of different shit, different designs and stuff like that. If you have like art and you want to put it on a shirt, you could do that. Like I said, stickers, hats, mugs, like all sorts of stuff. That might have been a hint to some of the stuff that's coming. But you know, that type of thing. So again, I just love this setup and the way that this works, and the fact that I don't need to worry about shipping right now. I don't need to worry about inventory. I don't need to worry about printing. In the future, though, that might be something that I do kind of reconsider, because what I will say is some of the slight drawbacks from this, right? One of the biggest drawbacks is that you have a little bit of lack of control. It's really good to have lack of control in some of those ways, but the other ways it's tough. And I'll give you an example. So like we had our first sale for AM and the PM. Somebody bought like this hoodie, for instance, and I don't think it's going to get to them until like the 22nd. That's really not that long, especially for like an online order. I mean, I know everybody's used to getting Amazon packages in like 2 days, but we're really spoiled with that because they have their own goddamn whole network of shipping. So it's kind of like really unrealistic. I've done some shopping for Christmas, specifically on other like smaller e-commerce platforms just like this, and the stuff doesn't get here for like 2 to 3 weeks. So it's unless the hard part with this, in the tough part that's like it's tough to like manage in a sense, or the tough thing to swallow is the good and bad part is that the clothing is literally not made when the person purchases it. So somebody somewhere in, you know, the manufacturing place has to make it. They got to do all of those steps, and then they have to ship it, as opposed to us having it here and then us shipping it out. That's why it takes a little bit longer. It's not ridiculously long. I mean, during the harsh pandemic times, I know they were taking a long time, but they've fixed all that stuff, and they're back in the swing of things, which is why it took so long to kind of do some of this stuff. But the point is, if you ordered something right now, one of the drawbacks is you're probably not going to get it for probably a little under 2 weeks. But I still think that that's not really that bad, especially if you want like a shirt or something like that you're going to continue to wear. It's not like it's food or anything that's going to go bad. So that's one thing. The other thing is honestly just, they have a lot of products, Printful specifically. There's other places that do this, but Printful has a lot of products. But one of the slight drawbacks there too is that, so I want to make, let me just grab one out of my thing here. I want to make clothing like this, right? So this is not really an AM and the PM discussion. This is more of a broader discussion now, and moving towards Fueled by Progress, right? So I want to make clothing like this, like Everforward or Alpha Leap, right? Let me do this actually. Let me. Cool transition. Okay, so I want to make clothing like this, right? And on the surface, this doesn't really look any different. Excuse that blur, because that's the camera thinking that it's a background. But anyway, this is something that I'd like to do. I'd really love to make clothing that has, you know, a little bit more to it in a sense, right? Like you pick up a shirt from. I don't know. I don't know if anybody knows what Everforward is, but you pick up like a Nike shirt or something like that. Nike's honestly, like it's almost too big. Like it's not. Let's say certain more high quality gym shirts, Nike shirts, things like that, Gymshark, whatever. You pick up something and you know it. It's like cotton. It's spandex. It's kind of stretchy. It's just a solid quality thing. You have things like this on the will that focus please. Oh, there we go. I don't know if you can see that or not, but it has things like that on the inside. It has all this other stuff, you know, little tags in certain places and stuff like that. And the point of this is that I know how to do this, but it is a different process than what I just showed you on this screen here, because you can't get something like this. I don't want to say you can't, but this is like the next level. I always thought the way that I've learned this so far, and again, there's a lot of people that I've met, specifically even in Pittsburgh, that know a lot more about this than I do, but I have this vision of things that I want to do in this space, and there is a stark, line in the sand where it's merch and like apparel, or like merch and an actual brand, right? What you're seeing on the screen here for AM and the PM, or what you did see on the screen here for AM and the PM, is solid merch. Like it's good, it's quality merch, but at the end of the day, it's kind of like taking a shirt off a rack at like a Walmart or something like that, and then screen printing on it, right? Or you can do embroidery and all that other stuff, like with the hats and stuff. But the point is that that's the way that I think about that. What I think about this, Everforward, Gymshark, and stuff like that, what they're doing is they are doing a whole different process. And when I swear to God, I've been wanting to do this for a long time. So when I get to that point and we actually start making Fueled by Progress clothes like this, this is baby steps is what we're doing. We're doing baby steps here for the merch and everything like that to kind of get our feet wet in this industry. And then we're going to go way deeper when we get to this. When I do get to this point, because I've been talking about it for a long time, I know I jumped the gun tremendously on like Instagram and everything like that months ago. What we're going to do there is we're going to talk to actual manufacturers, like either domestically or internationally, probably a mixture of both, but like specifically internationally, I know is a good way. Like there's sites like Alibaba and stuff like that, where it's kind of like Amazon, but for sourcing like manufacturing of clothing and products and building products and stuff like that. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to make our own clothes. We're going to figure out the material that we want. We're gonna figure out the one of the biggest things here in men's clothing specifically is that you can't. Most of these goddamn regular shirts are just like regular fitted t-shirts, but like the difference between the shirt that I have on, which is actually from Printful, it's one of the like better ones ish, but I don't know if we're gonna really use it. It's kind of closer to it. The difference between it is like this shirt, the one that I have from Everforward, and this is like the sleeves, for instance, are like tapered down. So it just looks better. It fits better around your chest. It tapers down towards your waist. And that is one of the biggest things that I have missed, because since I started this clothing journey thing, or part of it, I'm doing a bunch of shit, but like since we started thinking about this and Fueled by Progress and everything, I really haven't bought any more like Everforward stuff. So I have some shirts and stuff like that, but the point that I'm making is that there is a difference. There is a stark difference between what you would get on Printful, which is absolutely fine, does the job 100%, but at the end of the day, it is merch, in my opinion. It's good quality clothing, but it's not apparel, it's not a brand. And when you go towards that route, it's like you're actually making something that really means more in a sense. I don't know if I want to say it means more, but it's just something that is really, it's bigger to me. It's more time, it's more money. Think about it like this too. The other thing is that is not the same business model as this Printful thing, because this Printful thing, you can throw these designs up there. I could throw 1 million designs up here and not pay a dime until you purchase something. But if we're talking to people in China on how to make this stuff, right? And these clothes, there's a whole process there. Like you have to figure it out. You got to fine tune the design or whatever. Then you have to pay for a sample, from what I understand. I haven't done this yet, but you have to pay for a sample. So like $20-$50 for a sample medium shirt or something like that, for them to print off one and make like a thing. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but something like that. They got to send that to you, which takes a fucking long time because it's coming from China. And then you gotta check all that and see if that all works, make any adjustments or whatever. And then you should probably get another sample if you have to change anything. And then the quote unquote worst part, or most scary part, at least for me at this point, because I haven't done it yet, is that you have to buy like 100 or more of those things, right? So I think they could be like maybe like 20 of each size or something, but like you got to buy in bulk is the point that I'm making. So I've learned a lot of this from great people, and I'm going to shout them out here. I don't know if they'll watch this. I don't know how many people check them out, but Sean Koski was actually the first person that told me his is fomos.shop. I will put that in the thing here. I always like to send love people's way. I definitely typed in the wrong thing there. Hopefully that wasn't malware. Oops. I always like to shout out people and give people love, the people that have helped me. So definitely go check out his store. He does this sort of stuff. And also I'm going to shout out Illegal Apparel, because everybody they're another great company here in Pittsburgh. And they have taught me a lot just being around those guys, because they've been doing it for longer than I have. So we have different visions and different almost like styles, but the way in which you kind of do it is kind of, still the same type of thing. So I think I explained the process pretty well from what I know so far. And I will absolutely be sharing the deeper design, the next level design stuff as we continue to do that, because AM and the PM is awesome, I think, for now. I really think that it serves the exact purpose, like the Printful stuff, and just the way that we have that there. Hopefully more people buy some stuff. That would be great. And as we get more products, we can always, here's the one thing that I'll say. You can have a million fucking products on there, but what I've also realized is, like, you need to have good design, you need to have all that sort of stuff, but marketing is probably one of the biggest things. Like, first of all, if nobody knows, they're not going to be able to buy anything because they just don't know. But even if they do know, you got to almost like convince them to buy stuff or make them want to buy, right? It's just consumerism 101 in this country. It's like you need to like just somehow psychologically get people to want to purchase a new shirt or a new pair of pants or a new hat or something like that. So that's something that we're gonna have to work on heavily. AM and the PM slightly, but it's one thing to spend some time and not actually really spend much money putting that up there. And it's like, oh, if people buy it, that's awesome. If we really appreciate it, but if not, it's not the end of the world. But if we're gonna fucking go through all the shit, like to get stuff from China and buy like 100 of these shirts, we gotta make sure that like they're gonna get sold. So that is something that I'm gonna have to think about a little bit more as we approach that. But I'm excited for it because at the end of the fucking day, I'm so excited. I love wearing these shirts, right? These shirts that we made. I got a couple other ones. I got like an FBP on the crest and the chest thing up here, but if I had something nicer, like a shirt that I and Amanda and whoever, like we designed and we like tailor made for like dudes that I don't know, just want to feel good and look good in clothing, like so many other brands are doing now, but like also had this fucking message of like fueled by progress on it. I don't know. I just think that'd be awesome. I'm very excited for that, and I know that that's something that we're gonna do here, very soon as we continue to ramp this up. So, AM and the PM is pretty much done as far as the everything goes there. I wanted to kind of show that a little bit. So yeah, we talked about this a lot. We talked about all the stuff we have coming. We do have more options of items coming, and we're gonna throw those on here when we confirm the samples and make sure that everything's good. So that'll be awesome. Everything works, like I said. The whole integrations between all those types of things. So this is completely live, and I had this idea. I ran it by my grandmother, and I talked about it in my story earlier today, and I did something where I went over on this whiteboard and basically talked about the things that I just talked about. But there is my grandmother has a restaurant called Ray's Restaurant, and if we go over here, I can grab this link for you, and you can check out the website if you'd like. But it's just a regular like restaurant diner website that I made. One of the first websites that I made too is actually kind of funny because it's not the greatest. Like it's good. It's really good in my opinion because I made it, but I just was looking at it and I was thinking about it, and I don't know why it's being so slow right now, but like I was looking at it and thinking about it, and like I could just make like a much better website now, and just the way that I do things, it was just really interesting to see like how I've progressed right at the end of the day. So, but we had an idea on here, like it's very basic. You just have menu, gallery, story, stuff like that. But we want to do something else. We want to do a shop page because people have actually asked about shirts, and we have shirts. She got shirts again, like I said before. She went down the street a couple times or 3 times or whatever, and we got like shirts that we wear at the restaurant. They just have like a little thing on the sleeve or on the chest there, and then they have like something on the back, right? Very simple. The quality of this shirt is a merch shirt. Like it's nothing crazy. So what we're gonna do there is I've already set it up, and I just did it tonight basically. I did that whole shebang. So I have like WooCommerce and everything installed now on the site. There is a shop page. We can go to it even though there's nothing there. And yeah, so it's just the boilerplate so far for the shop page. I have a Printful account already set up for them. So we're going to design the shirts in there and we're going to push them over to the store. And then once they're pushed over into the store here, we'll have to set up a payment gateway. So it'll probably be Stripe. There's actually like a new thing with WooCommerce I just looked at today, which, without getting into too much detail, it's basically Stripe, but specifically for WooCommerce. It's a little different, but that's a topic for like more technological based discussion. It's not something that I think I'm gonna mess with. So I'll make a Stripe account, which again is a very versatile thing. You can use it for Shopify, you can use it for whatever, and then they'll have the ability to get payments via that and process and everything, and it'll just be dandy. So I explained the whole thing for AM and the PM, but just think of a carbon copy of that for Ray's Restaurant here, just with obviously different designs, different accounts. And that's what I've been working on here for the last, I started that at 9:45, and I worked on it for probably like an hour and a half, 2 hours. And honestly, it's kind of done. I mean, it's kind of done. I don't know. I've gotten pretty decent at it, I guess, just in the few times that I've kind of played with it. But I got to create the Stripe account still and kind of do some of that stuff. But the point is, again, if you want to make money, like you could somehow find a way to make money, and if you have something to share with people, whether it's art or whether it's a clothing brand or merch or like any sort of stuff that you were trying to do, it is not really that hard to set this shit up. The biggest part that I completely did not talk about is the whole how did I get to the website thing. And the reason I didn't talk about that is because I am a web developer and I have a web development company. So there's a difference between like what I would recommend for myself and what I did and the vision that I had and where I'm at now, and what I would recommend to you as somebody who wants to make a website specifically for yourself for like your band or something like if you want to do it yourself and you're inclined, then that's one set of recommendations. Or do you want to have somebody else do it? That's a different recommendation. That's a different set of recommendations, because I don't know. That's one of the hardest questions or hardest things that I grapple with all the time is like, you got to really be self-aware in a case like this, right? If you have a brand or something, then let's say you need a website. Like that is, you've made the conscious decision that you need a website. And if you have anything nowadays, you should probably get a fucking website. So what do you do from there? Well, I kind of have a process that I kind of go through and I think about and I try to run clients through. But the point is, you have to be self-aware with yourself. There's definitely a way for you to build your own website and maintain it and everything. So do you do that, or do you have somebody else do that? That is the first and most important question, because if you're going to have somebody else do it, then you need to understand it, but you don't need to do it. But if you're going to do it yourself, then you really need to get deep into it and understand it. So at the end of the day, I'm doing everything and I'm doing all these different fucking things, and I love it. But ultimately, there might be people out there that only want to design clothes and be that part of the brand, or they only want to play instruments and they only want to be that part of that. They want to be part of the band. They don't want to be, also the web designer and all that sort of stuff. So I don't know. I have that conversation all the time. I think about it a lot, and it's an interesting one. But yeah. So it kind of got a little deeper there. But that's the whole before part of having a website, and before you even set up the store and all that sort of shit. You can go right now, click on Shopify, you can find yourself a domain, do all that stuff. If you're going to get a domain, please don't buy it through Shopify. Please buy it through Google Domains. Please. It's a better idea. So you have total control of that, and you can do whatever you want with it. Just go to Google Domains and purchase a domain. And everybody should have a domain, I think. Even Amanda has a domain now, and we're making her a website, so that's fantastic. But do that, and it's a lot of trial and error, so I don't expect everybody to do it right the first time. But if you go to Shopify right now, you're going to be looking at like $30 a month to have a website. And yeah, if you plan on using it, then fuck yeah, do it, So, but I don't know. I'm just kind of getting into the weeds with some of this stuff. But the point is, I think we kind of went over a lot of it. I wanted to talk about merch. We talked about the whole process. We talked about everything that I'm doing. I want to be transparent as possible on this outlet, because the MJS stuff is just fucking me. It's like everything that I'm doing. It's like you might see cool shit on AM and the PM, right? You might see episodes. You might see merch. You might see cool marketing and new clothing and podcast episodes and community stuff on Fueled by Progress as we continue. But at the end of the day, this MJS shit is gonna be like the fucking real shit. Like, it's like this is how everything is getting done. And I'll tell you what, honestly, it's pretty much just me right now, and help from Amanda on some things. But I'm loving it. I'm really enjoying it. I'm light years more happy than I was before, and it's just cool to build shit. Honestly, at the end of the day, that's kind of what it comes down to. So figuring this type of stuff out, I didn't know any of this stuff like a year ago, and I've just been working and doing different things to try to get us to the point that we need to with all this different stuff. And I'm excited with where it's going. And yeah, so I think that's kind of it, honestly. We got some more stuff going. We're starting a new week. I love Mondays. I love pretty much every day, especially now that we're just straight on working. So we're gonna do that. We're gonna have 2 great episodes this week, an AM and the PM and a Fueled by Progress that'll be Wednesday at noon and Thursday at 3. And trying to get another video out here at some point. I want to definitely make a yearly wrap-up video on the MJS channel, and I want to do, I think the next one was, I got to do something with podcasting. I have a lot of people that ask me about podcasting, and I really need to do something to give some content, or like a course or some shit like that, because I think that I do stuff pretty well. I'm not saying that I'm the fucking best, but I just think that the amount of time and energy that I put into to researching something, I think that packaged into something that's consumable, easily consumable and concise, I think that'd be a great resource. So just trying to do different things. One small thing that I will mention here real quick is that I'm very happy that Amanda and I sat down and we actually hammered this fucking merch out, because for a long time, I have been not focused on making money enough, because, and rightfully so, I've been trying to focus on happiness and building these things, and we have just built so fucking much, and I'm so happy. I'm so proud of everything Amanda's done. I'm happy with everything that I've done, and we're gonna continue to go there. But there is something really awesome today about making our first sale. It was just Amanda's friend, which, thank you so much, Amy. But just the first sale of something that you've, worked on and you've done. And even though it's just, like a Printful design, so we don't actually have it to like hand it to her. It's just fucking awesome. Like, it's really cool to, it's really cool to get there. It's really cool to make that first buck. And it's not my first fucking buck, but you know what I'm saying? Like I made website money and stuff, but when you do anything like that, it's cool to get to that point. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited for what we continue to do moving forward with AM and the PM. Like I said, there's gonna be new items there. There's gonna be more stuff at some point here with Fueled by Progress. I don't think I'll make MJS merch. I think that's a little ridiculous. Even though I have an MJS mask, that's one of a kind. Vin Diesel, check him out. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where we're at. I think we're working on a lot of stuff. I know it's going to be great moving forward. But yeah, that was a great update. I think we made a lot of progress this weekend. Can't wait for the week. And yeah, so last thing I'll say is if anybody ever has any questions about podcasting, business, finance, clothing, entrepreneurship, I don't know, anything, I'm trying to do it all. And I'm really enjoying it all. So if anybody ever wants to shoot the breeze and has, a question about what I'm doing, or how you want to do something that you see me somehow dabbling in, please do not hesitate to reach out. Any platform, I will answer. But yeah, with that, thank you so much for watching. I know we had a few pop in today, and it was great. So if you watch it live or watch it on the rerun, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will talk to you guys probably tomorrow. See ya.